So good morning. Today we are going to look at a very interesting topic, and this topic is going to be about Proxmox automation in relation to Ubuntu millers from the official website of Ubuntu. But I'm still preparing myself that we can go ahead to see what I can offer. So, dear members, I want to inform you that the link is being prepared, and this link is going to help us to understand how to deploy the Ubuntu cloud image in the Proxmox server. Yeah, so once again, I welcome you to this Proxmox Ubuntu cloud image with Proxmox. So we need to first look at overview. And the background for why I wanted to make a Proxmox Ubuntu cloud image. So I've recently ventured down the path of attempting to learn the concepts of cloud images and cloud desktop images. So I have tried Docker multiple times and haven't really enjoyed the nuisance of any of the times. To me, when you create LXD or LXC containers, these are the normal containers in Proxmox. They are a little bit far easier to understand than Docker. But when coming from one VM per service background, these containers in Proxmox can be assigned IP addresses or get them from DHCP, depending on how you set up your Proxmox. And otherwise, behave basically like a virtual machine from networking perspective. So Docker's networking model is quite a bit more unique and does a lot of technicalities that one can call nuisance. But lots of people try to say it's much easier, but having everything run on a local host. So there are a number of reasons when you're running on local host. Of course, you experience high number of ports, things doesn't work well. You are running lots of services. Yeah, as if you are doing reverse proxying, which is quite familiar when you use some web servers like Linux and others. Yeah, which needs another extra configuration step. It is much easier to have a container get an IP address either statically or by DHCP, and then it can be accessible from hostname right off. If maybe you're using pfSense for DNS and DHCP for IP releases, I entered right into the DNS. So regardless, some people who use Kubernetes is the new hotness. So I figured out that I need to relearn and understand in a tutorial way how we need to master and at least work with 2 workloads on a Proxmox server environment. So there is no sense of making 3 separate virtual machines. So shall we use the magic of virtualization? And through that, we shall also come up with cloning the images, which maybe we can in turn create them as different templates. So we shall deploy the virtual machines for my Kubernetes cluster, and I've used this Proxmox crowd image to make my own Kubernetes nodes, but haven't documented it yet. But we shall look at the overview. So now the summary, we shall use Ubuntu Cloud Image, then install some packages into the image. Then after that, we should be in position to go ahead and create Proxmox, the virtual machine, using the image that we have prepared. Then thereafter, we should be in position to convert that image to a template. Then, of course, there we shall automate and do lots more through that template, which is full virtual machine, and we shall set some parameters. So, because there's a video link that we can find after this recording. Yeah, so luckily enough, we shall download the Ubuntu images. So maybe I need to share my screen. Okay, great. So that's my screen. So Ubuntu, which is my preferred distribution for Linux, and I guess for you, but there are so many crowd images on internet for Debian, Red Hat, and others. So they are always updated on a regular basis, and you can find them at crowdimages.ubuntu.com. And we are interested in the current release of, this is 20.04, but for us, we're going to use Ubuntu 24.04, and the version code name, we shall use Nobel. So because this Nobel is the current version, which is long-term support, yeah, that supports the KVMs on Proxmox. So there's this link, but before we go there, we need to first visit this link of crowd. Like I told you, we are going to use Nobel, which is, some people can read it as Noble, so which is for Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Okay, yeah. So once I click here, I should be in position to see the image. Of course, this image has very many builds, and you can use the current. That's what our tutorial is saying, that we shall use the current release, okay? So after getting the current release, of course, that's where you will see a cloud image. We are interested in seeing something like crowd images, focal, in our case, it will be Nobel current, Nobel server, something that ends with .img for the cloud images. Okay. So I need to look at it, img. Yeah, you can even have these ones that you can use for these other virtualization environments like VMware and other virtual machines, like Oracle virtual machines, and so many others. But for us, we're interested in getting the one that has .img. But we need the one that is 64-bit support. Okay, you need to have a look here, AMD 64. AMD 64, which is this one. This is not AMD. Okay, we need AMD 64, which is this one. So you right click, copy that link, and now we're going to log into our Proxmox environment. Okay, great. So you go to now you need to first understand what you're doing. You copy this. You need to understand what you are doing. So because we have copied, now the next thing to do is for us to go to the shell here, and maybe this shell I can paste the image, but remember we are downloading it. So we use the command wget to pull. Make sure you have HTTPS to pull that image, and you press enter. These images are not heavy, and you can download them in shortest time, depending on your network. Okay, so we realize that the download is complete, which is what we want. Now, our next thing is to go to the next step, but you should be in a position to confirm that you have the cloud image already downloaded. Okay, so we realize that the download. So our next step is to install the packages. So it took me quite a while into my debugging process to determine that QEM guest agent wasn't included in the cloud image. So why is it not so? I have no idea. Luckily, there's a very cool tool that I just learned about that enables installing packages directly into an image. So this tool is called Virtual Customize, and it comes in the library guest tools package as that we can use for accessing and modifying virtual machine disk images. So there you can read more about it. It's called libguests. Libguests. So it's a tool for accessing and modifying virtual machine images. Okay, shall run more about this later. Can use it not only for Ubuntu, but Red Hat, Fedora, and Debian. Okay. So now we're going to install that tool libguests on our environment. So what I will do, I'll just paste that code here. Okay, so we need to copy it manually. Need to copy it manually, then you paste it here. Okay, then you press enter. So it should be in a position to, and it will not take too much time. So after that, then install the QEM guest agent into the newly downloaded image. Okay, now this is where we need to be extra very careful. But we shall achieve what we are looking for. Okay, this is still installing the other tool that will help us to customize the image. So it's actually almost done. So all you need is just patience and have stable internet to proceed with that. So now we have downloaded that and we have installed that. So the next thing is to virtual customize minus a focus server. So we're going to replace this focus server with the image that we downloaded. So what I'll do, just come here and delete this image file name and I paste the one that we have. And then after, I think I should be in position to press enter. So it's saying examining the guests. At this point, you can presumably install whatever you want to the image, but I haven't tested installing other packages. So I was needed to get the VM recognized by successful. So let's see the magic. But here, what we are doing, we are installing QEM agent into the virtual machine. Okay. Next, update. It is possible to inject SSH keys into the cloud image itself before turning it into a template and the folders. So now you can see that when I copy this and I need to first create a file on the server. I call them SSH template. So this SSH template, I can nano that SSH template, and I should be in position to paste that code before I actually run it. Okay, great. So now here, remember, we are looking at our server, which is Noble. So our server Noble is not going to work for us because, I mean, our server Foco will not going to work for us because we are interested in Noble. So that's why we need to bring something that is a little bit uniform. So let me first share this screen here, and then we customize this. So, okay, so this screen, I think, well, it's not working yet. It's not working yet, but they're saying when you uncomment this virtual customizer Noble server, this run crowd, add a user called Austin. But now for us, we're going to use we're going to run a user called Nkamjisha. Okay. This user, okay, you can actually use a user called systems. Now here, you can also customize and create a directory that has systems, the user directory. Now from there, you can go ahead and inject the username systems into the user directory and create a public SSH key. Then you can go ahead and do this run and give this Austin the right permissions, okay? But of course, we can't run this at the moment, but they are telling us that you can create a user called so. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our file. Let's go back to our file and we proceed with what we're actually doing. Good. So this one, we are not running it because it is not tested. So now create a Proxmox virtual machine using the newly modified cloud image. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy this guy. We're going to copy this guy. Actually, allow me share the whole screen for purposes of screen share. So we are going to create a QM image, and we give it a QM of virtual machine ID. and the crowd image is Ubuntu 2004 crowd image with a temporary memory of 2 GB, and we're going to give it 2 cores, and we're going to have it use virtualization bridges VM0, and we're going to import it from our image, which is this one. So you need to replace this guy with the right image, and to create a local disk, then to assign these local disks space, then to give it boot disk, then to assign it cloud initiation image. Then it will also as well assign it agent, the other agent that we installed. So now we need to understand about the disk. How much disk space is this cloud? Yeah, before we proceed, of course, let's go back to our thing. So the command below should be relatively self-explanatory, but in general, we are creating a virtual machine with VM ID 9000. Basically, every other resource I saw used this ID, so we'll use it too. So it is having 2 cores and 2 GBs, assigning a virtual adapter on a bridged interface, putting the image into the storage. Your storage here will be different if you are not using ZFS. Probably either local or local VM. Setting disk 0 to use the image, setting boot disk, setting the cloud init stuff to IDE2, which is apparently appears as a CD-ROM to the VM. Add a list upon initial boot and adding a virtual CDO port. I had already used the QM to force stopping before this, but it is pretty very much useful. You can start the VM up at this point if you like and make other changes. So now, before we proceed, let's go back and see our thing. So QM name, we're calling it Ubuntu 24.04. Okay, we shall name it the way we want. Okay, can just say Ubuntu, maybe cloud-init. It's okay, you can have it like that. So I think with this, we can go ahead and run this cool stuff on our server. So we just paste and make the magic run. So you're going to see that we are going to have VM 9000 created here. And when you click it here, you should go to hardware, and you should be in a position to see that it has 2 GBs and 2 cores. And I want to tell you that this doesn't have a hard drive. Yeah, so but let's proceed. Let's proceed and we look at what is next. You can start the VM up at this point if you'd like and make other changes you want, because the next step is converting it to a template. If you do boot it, I will be completely honest that I have no idea on how to log into it. I actually just Googled this because I don't want to leave you without an answer. Looks like you can use the same customize we used before to set a root password according to Stack Overflow. These guys of Stack Overflow, they are always nice. I'm trying to build a cloud infrastructure using VMs. The OpenStack command used to mention that the images in this link contain OpenStack pre-installed. So I downloaded this. file and loaded it using KVMs. So in short, you need to host sudo apt install cloud image materials, do that, do that. So Kai is saying that you can have this, set a root password. So you can have that, set a root password. But remember, we already created what? Our image. So not going to put into a command window here because cloud-init is really meant for public key authentication. So convert the VM into that. But before you convert, can we first run it and we see if it is going to run? You can even check the errors, experience some errors. Okay, we are trying to wait for it. Yes, it's running. It's running. It's running, but it says there's no bootable disk. That's what I was trying to tell you, that this doesn't have a bootable disk. So how can we get into this? Now, what we are going to do, we're going to go to hardware here, and we add a disk, either IDE, can pick it from local, but maybe 32 GB for now will work. And we need to make sure that our boot order is set locally to this guy. Yeah, then from there, we can go ahead and start the virtual machine. So we have two options here. There's one on legacy. So if I press one, it can't see it. So let's stop it again. Check on the hardware to refresh this page. So we need to understand this, and I have to make sure that it is bootable. The boot order. But we can go ahead and say ID is 0. So when we do that and we run, we want to see if things are okay. Okay. But what I know, let's ask this guy if there's something missing. Okay, so now I think what we can do to overcome this, let's first stop this VM. And after stopping it, we actually delete it. We actually remove it from the system such that we run the other fresh commands afresh. Delete this 9,000. And then we are going to update. So this makes, so now this is missing. We never created IDE, media, and set the VM BIOS and boot properly. Set it, the disk, this, and the size of the disk is 128. Then set the cloud-init user. So we didn't create these cloud images. Now, so this is the final command. So now, when we copy this and we paste this there, so let's follow this. So this one creates this, and this, create that. Now this one helps us to create the disk here. And this disk is bootable, it's IDE that, CD that, CD that. So now I can ask this guy, so what is the hard disk size in this case? Your final mind. Yeah, we need to understand this too. Yeah, because we need to have it stated. Okay, so, but they're saying, it's a great question in your current setup. No explicit is set because you are importing a pre-built image. The disk image will be whatever is defined inside that cloud, usually TGB. If you want to expand the disk to a larger size, you must resize it manually after importing it or during template creation. Okay, so it's okay. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So now we have liberty to run this stuff. But we need to understand this step here. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. So this step here, set cloud-init user and network configuration, optional but important. This one is on DHCP. This one, user Ubuntu. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, we can use that. I think it has no problem. So this is what we are going to run for our cloud image. I will paste it here and I press enter. So it should create our virtual machine. Okay, okay. But you've seen that we have errors. ZFC, storage ZFC does not exist. So this is something very nice that you need to tell this guy. So meaning we have to come back and still remove this guy. We have to make sure that we come up with something working. So what is this guy saying? You say PVE status. Then, and you say PVE status, it will show you the what you have. So just give this guy what you have, and he should be able to help you. Okay. Network is becoming a problem. So I have to regenerate the response. So we are using local VM instead of earlier what they had given us, which was ZFS. So this is our latest copy. Our latest copy. So just ignore that and put this. Now, when we run this guy, into our machine, it should be in position to create what we need. So what it is doing, we need to be careful. QM create this, import a cloud local image, and we are importing this that we already have. Okay. Let's wait and see. I'm seeing we don't have any error. So we can check here what we have. So we have 2 GBs, we have 2 cores, we have a hard disk of 20 GBs. Okay. And we have this. And of course, it's using cloud-init, whereby I have a user called Ubuntu, and the password is none, and the public key is using that one. And yeah, so I guess we are okay. So I can remove this public key, and I put mine, which I have on my laptop. The one I have here, it could be of help. We can actually search it .pub. 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 It should be this. I need to check it. Yeah, this is the one. So this is the one. It's the one which I will add here. Then I say, okay. So this is the key that this machine is using. So can we start this machine and we see how best are we good at it? Okay, cool. So we expect some results. It's still running, so we need to first give it time and we see what we have so far. Remember, it hasn't given us any error, so that's why you have to be patient, wait for these two. But I'm seeing this error. So they are saying to fix this error, go to Proxmox storage local, which is here. Data center, storage, then local. Then edit in the content box, check the box for cloud-init and optional ice image if not already checked. Click OK. Or via the command line, you run that. So because we don't have cloud-init here, I would actually prefer to run the command line anyway. Via command line, of course, it gives us that error of which I understand. Option 2, if you prefer using file-based storage, more flexible for templates, you can create a new directory under that, add it as a storage location, make this, and then I think this is okay. Okay, let's check this. That one will not help us, but I think this first step would yield some results for us. Okay. So now if we have this, so meaning we have two disks, eh? We have two disks of cloud-init and I want to try this one as well. So we have this. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Okay, that's okay. So now can we run and we see if we have some success? Still, we are getting the same error. Does generating crowd ISO does not support content type images. Meaning we need to check the boot order. Is this? Okay. Crowd in, it's okay. Okay, that's okay. Then here, I need to detach it. Then start. So it says it's still bringing the same error. Need to look for corrections and you see if we shall pass there. So we have some success here. Saying no bootable disk. It's because we deleted the other disk. Okay? Okay, so it's okay then. You can add this. Then also we tell it to use a bootable disk of that space. Okay. This one you can have it removed and stop. After stopping, should now run it. You see. It has only one warning. So I think we're actually coming to it. So I need to wait for it to run because it's still waiting for network. But the issue is here. The issue is here. We need to define an IP, clear IP addresses. We need to define clear IP addresses. So /24 layer.1. Say okay. So I've given it 18. So Let's try to ping this guy and we see. Not yet. It's because I edited when it was still booting. So we can have it reboot and we see. Still booting, so we need to see what's going on. We're not getting any errors, so yeah, we can just be very excited actually about it. It is still booting. Now it is looking at network here. So as it does that, we need to know our network parameters. It's okay, but we are monitoring the pings. 21, 30. It's still trying to look for network. Once it sees it, then we shall have our active pings here. We need to first give it some time. Well, it has not, but we don't have logins. There's no password here. So you can say password is Ubuntu, of which you can remove later. So if you say password is Ubuntu, you need to remove this serial terminal interface and we see. Ubuntu. It won't work. But the reboot works. I want to first remove this CD. I don't know why we are using this CD. So now I need to then start it afresh without serial. So you realize that it won't start when it doesn't have a serial interface, which is very nice. We can add a serial port. Yes, then we start it. It's very interesting. The reason that's why we have reboot is because we want to use cloud-init to log in using the password we defined here. And via there, we can set our parameters. Then see how we shall move. Code is complete. Yeah, but if Synth is fighting with network, so I'm using our username and password to see if we can log in. With Ubuntu. So it can't log in because what? Because I defined it here. So which if I do this, domain name is okay. Here, let's say 31. That's 24. We issue a reboot.